Okay, hello everyone. You're listening to Lipstick and Leather, and on the phone with me is Nadir, of course, from London and DePriest. How's your day treating you?
It's great. Beautiful sunny day here in the Pacific Ocean, and just enjoying it with family and all our pets.
Ah,
Really back today.
awesome. Now, Mirando al Cielo, the video single, came out in 2014. With the Spanish CD coming out this year, why the long delay?
Well, Mirando Cielo is a track that's in the album from a solo album that I did. That was really never like had an official release at all whatsoever. I think that basically I had put it on hold for a long time and waited till I guess it was the right time, to put it out, which is now. um, but there's a lot of things on that album. If you're speaking about the latest,
Yep.
the Latin stuff and the Nadir album, is that the solo album you're speaking about, right?
Oh yes, yes, the new Spanish CD coming out.
Right. Well, what it is it's a solo. It's my solo album that was on hiatus. But what I went and did was I included tracks from the London album. The deal was that when the album was done and it was pressed and all that, all this COVID deal kicked in. It really dampened our plans, and a whole lot of, I'm sure, other bands who had releases at the same time, even with their labels behind them. And so for me, it was it's almost like it didn't get the attention that I really wanted to give it. So what I went and did is I just kind of made it as a free addition to the Spanish album. I went and added a double CD set on it, on that digipack, and added tracks from the London Call That Girl album, which was the most recent London album, studio album, basically that I've done. So yeah, that's basically what we're talking about, I believe.
Very cool. Now, is eBay so far the only place you can pick up a copy?
You know what? eBay is the only place you're going to get the physical CDs, and I'm not doing Spotify. I'm really like tiptoeing around all that stuff right now. I do have Call That Girl, and it is on DistroKid, and you can get it in on every facet, I believe, as far as that album is concerned. But the rest of the albums, I I have a good how would you say, a good setup with eBay, and I have a lot of customers and a lot of return customers. And for me, I believe that the whole CD thing is kind of like become a little more popular than if people think, and that's including the vinyls. And for me, it's been really good in that sense. But as far as me having it at physical stores, well, I think online stores is where it's at for us, so that's where we're at.
For sure. Now, what is the status of the re-release of the Metal Years CD upcoming?
The re-release of the Metal Years. Where did you see that?
Isn't there supposed to be a re-release with some bonus tracks coming up at some point?
Well, what it was it's the album basically that was put out by Cleopatra at one point that I had done a licensing thing with them, and I am adding a couple of tracks to that album from the same sessions. My only thing with that is that I just put out Call That Girl not long ago, and then I just put out this new Latin album right now, and I'm about to press Playa del Rock for the first time, and then I plan to put that album out. I also have a lot of stuff that I'm on hold that I'm not doing because again, it's this whole deal with COVID has just put a little bit of a damper on some plans. So, but other than that, yeah, there's going to be more material coming up for sure, especially that one. I think at some point it'll be out probably by next year. That one, Playa del Rock, is going to be out soon, so that's a given.
Very, very cool. I know I got the original right beside me, and a great, great, great CD.
Well, it is the original. It's the original everything. I mean, it's the tracks and its glory. It's just going to be a whole other deal with the fact that I'm not going to make a vinyl copy out of it, but you'll get the CD, or I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it may be being held by Universal Music right now, or I was passed on to. I can't remember that label. It's a metal label, but for me, it's going to be out through me at our store, and you'll be able to get it.
Awesome. Now, with Call That Girl being released in 2019, will there be an upcoming London CD with completely new music coming up?
You know what? I don't think I need it right now. I think I'm good with what I have right now. I'm trying to still, like I said to you, I'm still trying to push my last album from 2019. 2019 was at the end of 2019, so in reality, it didn't have any push whatsoever. So right now, I have been concentrating on just putting out a lot of the Call That Girl tracks for people to hear them and get them, because it didn't get anything out there. I really didn't get to gig it. I didn't get to go out and do shows.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't have that option, and it didn't have the opening door for that kind of a thing, and I can't promote it. And it's since I'm doing it all myself, it's a bit how would you say it, overwhelming sometimes. But yes, it's what I'm working on right now. As I just mentioned with you, as far as new material, I have more songs, but I have not even gotten there right now to record another album right away.
For sure. If I recall, there were a couple tracks that didn't make Call That Girl, like Face to Face. Maybe down the road they'd make some CD?
No, Face to Face is that was a working title. Okay, so that Face to Face does not exist. That was a demo title from the guitar player, which was his title that he gave it to, as far as with that. But when I got a hold of the song, that's not the title. That all changed. I have other songs that I want to put out that are fucking killer hard rock songs, but I right now I'm not at the recording mode right now. Right now I'm actually in search of. Well, not really a search. I haven't really started, but I'm looking for a new drummer. Krieger's no longer in the band,
Mm-hmm.
and so right now I'm looking to see what's out there. I'm keeping my options open to some good, strong drummer out there that has some chops on him, with a good meter on him, and easy to work with. Preferably, somebody with no bad habits, and that would be great. So that's where I'm at right now. We'll probably be auditioning drummers at some point this year. So that should be interesting.
For sure. Now, you have tons of unreleased footage around. Do you have any chance the footage of the backstage with Dio singing We're Stars, and maybe the Spiders and Snakes show that you sang a couple tracks for?
You know what? I'll tell you where to go with those. As far as any of those Dio shows that you're talking about when we did We're Stars at the Irvine Meadows,
Yep.
that was when I got to MC, thank you very much, Wendy Dio, who handed me a note to read and some names and microphone, and went out there, and everyone's screaming. I couldn't believe the feeling was amazing. But anyway, the person would be Wendy Dio. She would be the one who would have that footage.
Okay, awesome. Now, will you be releasing any of the unreleased DVD footage?
I have DVD stuff, but it's not something that I haven't thought about, to put it out. It's really more, I've been kind of hanging on to a lot of stuff. And the only reason that I do that is because I don't have a ton of stuff from back in the day, and so as soon as I put everything, if I get my hands on stuff and I start putting it out all at once, I think I'll run out. From old, I have slides. I have photo shoots with Lizzie and Brian and myself when they were doing the photo shoot for Laney Amps back in 1985, the glory days when we got to walk, set up stacks with double heads, all functional, do photos for them, and just when the NAMM show was having events all over town, and it was just a lot of really cool stuff from back in the day. Live photos of shows that I didn't even know people had photos of out there. So I enjoy getting a hold of things like that. But I do have photo shoots with Lizzie and Dane Rage and his wife on the photo, which caused a lot of drama back in that point and that time, with a big old story of it. She looked like she was part of the band, but she was not. But it was the drummer's wife, and it was it's like, you know what I mean? So it was cool. You look at these photos and you go back to that moment like it was yesterday. Oh yeah, I remember that, and you like even remember the smells and stuff like that. But yeah, videos right now I haven't. One day I'll sit down and transfer everything from DVD down to digital and get it out there. But in reality, I haven't thought about any of it. And I think that sometimes it's just a matter of putting myself down and downloading and picking and choosing. A lot of the stuff, some of the audio may not be the greatest, so that could be rough. I'm putting something out that may not be sonically where it's supposed to be. I know I remember a Roxy show we did with that footage of Hollywood Rocks, it was called, and it was us playing at the Roxy, and it was packed, and then we had a camera with, and everything was good. At that time, it cost a lot of money for us to have that. Mm-hmm. And we had the board of the Roxy, and I don't know what happened at the end of the whole thing. We go listen to the fucking audio, and it was complete audible garbage. All we heard was just, static going through audio left and right. It was either a bad chord or something that was not checked, and we paid all that money. I remember at the time to have that happen, and it just turned out to be crappy as far as the audio was concerned, but the footage was pretty good because we were blowing up flash powders and flames out of the fucking Roxy. We would never stop,
That's awesome.
The Gazaris, we did it only because Gazaris was not like our regular venue we played at. So for us, to let off those concussion bombs in Gazaris, we actually had to put extra shit in them, and we didn't have a license or anything to be doing shit like that. It was really fun. Anyway, we'll see what happens.
Awesome. Now, I love the Steel Prophet CD, Beware, that you sing on. How did you get involved in singing for Steel Prophet?
You know what? I don't exactly remember how I ended up hooking up, but I hooked up with the guitar player Steve and Steve Kaczynski, and I ended up, just hooking up with them. And I remember at that time I was going through a really hard time. And as far as like family issues and shit like that, I was going through a divorce and stuff. So I was really not fucking. I was ready to sing this kind of music. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So for me, it was a lot of fun to do. I enjoyed playing with Steve and Vince, and there's Pete, who played guitar, and the drummer. I can't remember his name right now. You'll kill me for not remembering, but it was a lot of fun working with these guys. It was only for a year. It just went really fast, But I got to write a lot of great stuff, and it was really fun to do, because I like that kind of metal stuff. But, I don't get to do it very often. So.
The DVD included on it is really cool, but I was hoping they would have some stuff from the era that you were on, because, the CD is Beware, from which you sing on.
Listen, let me just tell you this. At that point, that song, Leatherette, is that the one you're talking about?
Yes, that video's on there, but no other footage with you.
No, well, let me just tell you this. That Leatherette thing was something that I had worked on really hard, because at that point, Steel Prophet didn't even have a music video, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm not going to do this thing, and I'm just not going to, do this album, and I have some sort of a fucking video so we can at least have something that'll stay and you can see it, and you can hear it, So I was very fortunate to be able to hook up with a guy named David Bellino, who had done Ride You Through the Night. And then the drummer happened to work at a film and video camera rental facility up in Burbank, and they had a He said, "Yeah, I can get all the gear to film and shit." And I'm like, "Well, get this, and that." And we got the cameras. We didn't really have equipment, a whole lot of equipment, so the camera was huge. It was David was he's a shorter guy, and we didn't really have like those dollies or jibs or any of that stuff. But we had a warehouse that was loaned to us that had a lot. You see it on the video, TV screens that we just kind of had them put them around and all that, and a lot of it was just footwork, And the girls that you see there, actually, you probably recognize Pamela, who is on Turbo Lover. That's her now,
Right.
at the time.
Cool.
That's her dance. That's her dancing for me on that one, and she had not done anything in years. And I said to her, "Well, you guys are going to go right here on that floor right there, and you guys are going to start doing your girly thing here. We're just going to film all that and get it." And that's it. And that's how it happened. And it's all about the edits. And it was fun to do. It was more of a guerrilla shoot. It was one day, and it was a long day. And even my grandson is in it now. Now he's a young man now, but back then he was just like 5 years old, holding that skull. Yeah, he looked at it. "Oh, Grandpa, that was great." I'm like, "Yeah, all right." But anyway, yeah, that was a great album. Had a lot of fun doing it and recording it was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Extremely.
Now, your voice still sounds amazing. Have you auditioned for any other hard rock bands, or had any other hard rock bands ask you to audition for them?
Auditioning, I gave up on any auditions, and I'm going to tell you a quick story. I was back in the '90s. I was friends with the head of the Latin Academy. I won't mention his name because I don't want to give him the opportunity to say anything other than that we were friends and all that stuff. But you get no preference in the industry. You know what I mean? So I had gotten a call, and he told me, "Hey, listen, there's an audition for Aida." You know what I mean? And it's Andrew Lloyd Webber and fucking Elton John. And I can get you the audition, and you can be up, no wait, you know what I mean? Because there's like a lot of people that want these auditions, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I went and was, basically given a little bit a priority to go and get there, and before it gets out of hand, meaning everyone will want to be there. And I went there and waited around. You go to these big studios and you just wait and I walked into a room. The room was so fucking big. It was just, it was just like, just a piano in the center of the room, a table way in the back, with a bunch of people sitting there. And then I had to walk. I walked in. And it was just me and the piano. You know what I mean, with the guy playing it. And I gave him the music that I wanted to sing. And what was I sang? Foot Stomping Music by Grand Funk Railroad. And then I did Oh Darling by the Beatles. And I did maybe like, I don't know, like 50 seconds of each. And that was it. And they said, "Well, thank you very much." And here comes the next guy. So that was the day I said that I would never do it again. Anyway, just to make a long story short, that audition lasted 3 years. They didn't find anyone for 3 years.
Wow.
So I was the lucky one that was able to go in, do it, get out of the fucking way, because they went. And basically the call was for a tall, dark hair, more Latin rock singer with rock voice, And eventually I think they ended up with a blonde guy that was more, up to whatever they were looking for it. So it went from one thing to another. So, but it was, Aida. I still have the VHS right in my drawer right there. I look at it and I go, oh. So no, I have not done any auditions. I have not been asked. I don't know if anybody really wants to ask me to audition anything. I don't know what it would entail for me to do if it was something. I'm always open for good music and good musicians. I'm not really hard to work with. I'm very serious about what I do. So if anything, I'm more serious about it than I used to be when I was partying all the time and basically being just fun all the time. I think that at the time when you're younger, you're at least for our era in that time, it was more, everything was working in stereo. You had to have fun to be doing this. You can't be fucking not have any fun while you're doing it. And you always wanted to keep that train rolling. We saw you here. We saw you the other night. Oh, you're gonna be there tomorrow. We'll see you there. Blah, blah. It was always like that. And when you were not part of that, you were like almost like the outcast, or you're not part of that. You don't get to hang. You don't get to be part of that deal. So it's really cool. I'm always been open, to different things. So, but now it's a lot. Like I said, it's a lot more. I'm more serious about things now. They're more meaningful.
Well, that makes sense. Now, you worked as a project director for the Rolling Stones Voodoo Lounge CD-ROM. Did Mick Jagger remember you from the time you did a line of Krill with John Holmes, David Forrest, Baby Bill, and of course Mick Jagger at the Starwood way back in the day?
Wait, let's go back. I worked on the Rolling Stones Voodoo Lounge CD-ROM. I was project director for the project.
Yes.
I've never done any drugs with Mick Jagger, David Forrest, or any of those people.
Gotcha.
Just to be clear, I was 16 years old. So when I was going to West Hollywood to go see London, I was a 16-year-old kid sneaking into a 21 bar. So I was younger by 6 years than the members of London at that time. So I was just a kid. So I was not part of that. I was just a little kid. I was still in high school in Pasadena. And no, that's a misquote. The Rolling Stones was a job that I worked at for 2 years as project director for the whole fucking Voodoo Lounge CD-ROM.
Mm-hmm.
I toured with the Rolling Stones. I did all their green screens. I did jumbotron imaging. I did a lot of really important things for them. I was also on the cover of Multimedia Producer magazine, and a lot of stuff happened. But no, if anything, there was a very serious job and had a lot of responsibilities. I think my partying days were over because at that point, you either had to deliver or you don't, and you can't just party your way through. So the '90s was a whole other deal for me. I was very busy with music at the time. I was doing my Latin thing. I was doing a funk band, and then I was doing the Rolling Stones from the beginning with Virgin Records and Second Vision New Media on the way up to delivery of the masters. So we were delivering a lot of different things at the time. It wasn't just the Rolling Stones. There was other stuff going on that we were doing. The production company was busy then, so I had a lot of fun doing it. But yeah, that would be a misquote with the drug thing now.
Gotcha. Now, what made you decide to start Vamps Worldwide Media in 1993?
Well, Vamps Worldwide Media was just me kind of going off on my own company to do my own productions and to do my own thing, because every time that I did something, I would have to pay somebody to do it. And in reality, the creative end of all that and everything that's been done on all the albums has come from me. And it's come from my creative part in it. It's not necessarily the actual taking of the photo, or let's say on Playa del Rock and all that, but all the approvals, all the artwork, all the things that we had to do had to go through me, or else the shit would be not good, and it would be a really stressful environment. But no, it's not a bad thing. And I think that everyone thought that everything was just going to be handled and on the fly, and I just took it upon myself to start just producing records. Why hand it to a label? People would hit me up, hey man, you want to sell Playa del Rock, or hey man, you want to sell Don't Cry Wolf, hey man, can you even do anything with Nonstop Rock? Well, and then all of a sudden you go online on eBay, and there's a ton of people pressing Playa del Rock illegally. There's people pressing bootlegs on Nonstop Rock. There's a lot of things that were going on at the time. And I said, oh no. So Vamps for a while was was the beginning of the production company to be able to take control of the records and keep track of people and contact, let's say, social media marketplace like eBay and start busting all these fucking people. You know what gets me? That a lot of people that I kept busting were musicians. You know what I mean? And who had stores or were part of a music thing and just illegally doing a lot of shady stuff. Found from San Pedro, California, to Brazil, to Italy, to somebody in the UK and Las Vegas, and it's taken me years to crack down on all these people who basically are stealing from us, from the writers and the people that are that were part of making that. It's meaningless to people, but if you really sit and think about it, it took us blood, sweat, and tears at a time where we didn't have digital, we didn't have access to to copy and pasting your artwork. Everything was manual. Everything had to be fucking manual, or unless you paid some sort of an artist and knew how to do printing and pressing for you for less. So it was for someone now to try to suck your blood out of the little of what you were able to get out of it back then. Now, then it doesn't seem to be fair. So the only way to do is to crack down on them and go after them. So it's been very successful lately.
Good. That's awesome.
Meaning taking them down, because it's not fair. You know what I mean?